Mm. Hi, everybody. Sharona here, and welcome to another episode of, well, where are we? Yes, Conversations That Matter Most. I'm here with I am Sharona, and I am here with my, um, oh, can I say faithful sidekick and co-leader and just all around groovy human being, Claudette. Hi, Claudette.
Hi, Sharona. Hi, everyone. I love it with the way you introduce me, like faithful, sidekick, groovy. I like the groovy thing.
Groovy all around person. Well, you are. You're totally groovy. Um, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about what's the word I yammered? We're going to be talking a little bit about get out of your brain and into a balanced life. And this all started with our conversation that we had on Monday
Monday.
when we were realizing that for a lot of us, especially women, we have a tendency of trying to do everything on our to-do list plus more. We feel somehow we're not being productive when we have a moment of idle time, and then for many of us, because of that, we do the chatter monkey, the internal hamster wheel of blah 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 blah. And even if we go into bed and get ready to sleep, we're doing work. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to get out of that routine and find another way to bring a little bit less overwhelm, decompression, de-stress, and maybe a little bit more balance. And
Yeah.
before we go, Claudette, why don't you, because you are a groovy all around person, why don't you tell the viewers out there a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Sharona. And you know what? It takes a groovy person to know a groovy person. Just know that. All right. So, so I'm Claudette Chenevert, and I'm known as a stepmom coach. And I work with stepmoms who find themselves like in that little chatterbox, that little monkey mind that Trona mentioned, or that hamster wheel, which is exactly what was happening to me on Monday. The hamster wheel was like, and and we are very expressive, by the way. So if you're so if you're a stepmom and you find yourself in there, that's what I help you with. And I get it. I totally understand what it's like to be in that little chatter mind of you. And I think it's important for our, our our listeners to understand that, even though we're coaches and we work in that area, that we sometimes, fall into those patterns that everybody, or that are the people we help, fall into. And so that's why it's helpful. We understand, we know, we get what you're going through. We get it. We really, really get it. The thing is, we have the tools to help you. And so, yeah, so I'm looking forward to talking about getting out of our brain and into like more balance. And Sharona, I know you do amazing work with midlife women. I happen to be a midlife woman at the same time, as well as a stepmom. And so share with us a little bit more what amazing things you do to help that man, stay more balanced.
What? I forgot my terror. So my name is Sharona. I'm known as the Midlife Women Dancing with Change Specialist, and I work with small villages or tribes or whatever, or cohorts of midlife women who, and I partner with them so that they can figure out how to decompress, figure out, even if they're struggling or feeling overwhelmed, how to figure out what's next for them as they continue on their journey so they thrive wholeheartedly in body, mind, and spirit, taking one action step at a time. Because that's something about, I have this real thing against the thing, or not against, but it makes my body go is called multitasking. I'm a proponent of single tasking. Do one thing at a time, the best you can. So sometimes we need to take little baby action steps, and you know what? If the plate is half empty, that's okay. We don't need to overfill the plate. We can have idle time. So that's what I do. And so if you're a midlife woman, you're going, I'm struggling. My mind won't shut up. I can't sleep. I'm up at 3 a.m. in the morning. Hello, so am I. Then we could talk about and we can work through how to get out of your brain and into a balanced life. So, and I liked what you said, Claudette. We're I call us two-legged earthlings, and so we too struggle ourselves with how to uh, decompress from the day, and especially in this modern world where we get instant information coming at us and bombarding us all day. How do we and the brain just loves all that data. The brain just wants to collect as much data as possible and then run it around and run it around. So how do we detach and disengage from all that, so that way we're actually thriving and not just surviving the bombardment of our brain and the outer world? And
Yeah.
one of the things that I know that helps me a lot is getting physical in my world. For me, it's dancing or exercise or taking a walk or something, so that the brain learns to shut down. And what about you, Claudette? What are some ways that you find that helps
For
quiet?
me to shut down or quiet my brain, that is a really hard one, because you were talking about multitasking. Yeah, I'm a bad person. I multitask a lot, so shame on me. But the truth is, like, it's impossible to multitask. Really, what we're doing is like a series of sequential steps of many little actions, and so there's no break, and so you have a feeling you're multitasking, so your focus is always on just one thing, except that you're not focusing on anything either. So the things I like to do to sort of like decompress myself, and it was great because we talked on this on Monday. um, Put some context on this. My son's getting married on the weekend, and so here I am thinking, okay, I have to write my article, I have to prepare for some my newsletter, some blog posts. I need to go home. I need to get my house ready. I need to go fitting for my dress. Blah 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 blah. So I was talking 1,000 miles an hour, and Sharona's here just listening to me, and yeah. And the funny thing is that my family says that, like, I'm like an ever ready bunny on steroids, except that at some point this ever ready bunny is gonna go. So I need to recharge those batteries. Even the ever ready bunny needs to recharge those batteries. So to recharge my batteries, one of the things, well, that we talked about is reading something that's not related. So I showed Sharona my night table. There's a stack of books about this high on my nightstand, and that's just the nightstand. And my office happens to be in my bedroom, and it's full of books, and there's books all over, and they're all related to work. So, she said, okay, so let's just put a blanket on top of this so you don't see it. So I do have, like, well, funny, some non-work related books. So, I have that I read. And so, but the funny thing is that when I start reading that, within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I'm sleepy.
Yep.
So it takes me longer to read my funny, non-work related books, but it does the job, right?
Right.
It gets me out of my work mode into relax mode. The other thing that I love to do, and I don't do it enough, but it really relaxes me a lot, is taking a nice hot bath with essential oils. Just the water, and the feel. Whether you take a shower or a bath, I love baths because I just sit there and I just let the water soak me up and just hold me in that space of calmness. And that for me works very, very well to, sort of like, because we were talking about balancing, right? So it feels like the water's balancing and holding me in a space of just balance where I'm not having to stand up, I'm not having to do anything but just be there in that tub with the water and nothing else to do.
Yeah, and I think one of the things is, as you were talking, as you were sharing your story about how this all um, came about for today, one of the things that we did was, as I kept saying, these are just suggestions because I'm not the boss of you, but it was finding out what are the priorities for this week. And I think one of the things is a lot of times we think, like I said, we have to do everything all at once and get it all done. And sometimes we need to look at what is really the high priority. What do I need to get done now? And what can I let go and put it on the back burner? And and for you, this week is intense because your son is getting married, and we really needed to focus on, I have a theater background and a dance background, so everything to me is about shows, getting the show up. And so this is the week before the show is going to open. Even if the show is 4 hours and only one time only, yeah, you're right.
We're working on the one time only here.
one time only. You need to do all the tech work and costume fittings and all, and somehow that all, so that's what we did. Yes, you have to write your article and you have to do all that, but you know what? Not this week. We got to get the show up. So, those are some things that, our viewers, either stepmoms or midlife women or both, you can look at what is today, what is a high priority? And not everything can be a high priority, people. You gotta, not everything is a high priority. And
so let me ask you a question, Sharona.
Yeah.
All right, so we're talking about high priority. How many high priorities, and I'm smiling here, how many high priorities do you think we should have?
Oh, okay. I can't do the shoulding things. Don't be shoulding. You know what? Look at what needs to get done today. So for today, I know we have our episode. I know I have to work on, getting my free offer up. I have, all that. But I know what I need to do at the time frame that I need to do it. So a high priority, first of all, was to get this set up and ready for today. So everything else, so after this is done, I now go to the next thing. Right. So it's the same thing as, so for instance, if I know, let's say that I have a job interview, let's say I'm, a midlife woman who is going through a career change, and I've done all that pre-work, and now I'm going to go for the job interview. And today is the job interview at, let's say 2:00 this afternoon. I need, I have to review that. I have to get ready. And probably before that, I got the outfit thought out of, and I, looked up on the map. So there's all those things, all those little steps that needs to, so because the show must go on, right? The interview must happen. And so those are some things that you might want to look at. So you decide what the priorities are, but really, if you have 10 high priorities, I think that's something that you need to weed out a little bit.
Yeah, because think of it, right? There's only about what, 16 hours of real work time. If you're going to sleep 8 hours, which is a good idea, in my opinion, maybe not for you, but anyways, I need 8 hours, 7 if I fudge it a little bit, which means you got 14 hours, and 16 hours means that you're not eating. So let's say you're going to sit down and eat, right? And prepare the meal. Restaurant, you still have to get there. So let's take up 3 hours for the meal. Eat in 10 minutes and prepare the rest. So that leaves you about 12 hours of work. So if you have 10 items that are high priority, can you realistically do all those 10 things in an hour? And with purpose and you know, so here's my take on this, and take it or leave it, and you can say, yeah, that's a good idea, or it may not work for you. 3 items feel that are doable is a good number in my world anyways. And when I've had 3 things, it doesn't mean high priority, like, oh my gosh, if this is not done today, the end of the world happens. But if you have 3 items that you want to do, and focus on nothing else, like whatever else happens, leave that free to maybe have some fun time and some idle time and some reading or calling a friend or spending time on your social media. But if you look at maybe doing 3 things, ideally just one. But if you're like me, one is like not exciting enough. This is who I am. I need some adrenaline rush and I need some push and stuff like this. But so if you look at having 3, it sort of like gives you a good balance in trying to figure out what needs to be done. And unless that one thing you're doing, it takes up the entire day. Like if you're talking about the interview, as you talked about, Sharona, it may take you the entire day just to get ready for this, right? Like when we get ready for these episodes, it's a little bit of, we take care of this a little bit each day until the day we air our episodes. And so it leaves us, or at least me, something, then our episodes, and then I can do something later in the afternoon. So, I think it just divide your day in the number of hours you have. Make sure you have time to sleep and rest, and then take out your meals. You do need to eat. You eat. And then whatever else is a priority for you. I know for some people, exercising is a big priority. I'm sorry, it's not for me. I'm being truthful here. But it could be like spending time with your partner, your spouse, picking up your kids, doing your work, whatever it is. And so dividing it. So what are your thoughts, Sharona, on this?
Yeah, it's interesting because as you were talking, one of the things is we have a tendency of just looking at time, but I think we need to also look at energy, because my energy level is wackadilly. So for me, there are certain times of the day that I have like more energy that I can focus on intense stuff, and then there are times when my brain goes, no, I'm exhausted. I don't want to be thinking or answering or making a decision or anything like that. So what I do is I do the fluff stuff, or the less important stuff at those times. So like, for instance, social media, you brought up social media. I don't do it at my peak energy time. I do that at my, not heavy, low energy time, because it doesn't take a lot of energy to look at social media. So that's the other thing you might want to look at is know what your rhythm of your energy is, you know, I know for me between 3 and 5:30, I don't want to do anything that has anything to do with work. Sometimes I might, sometimes I don't. But what I really need to be doing is the fun stuff, the easy stuff. So that's what I do. Then I look at, you know, and you know what? I'm not a real like organized, I'm not one this very detailed, organized person, but I do have calendars or notes to remind me what I need to get done and when to do it. So that way, what I do is I block out time to say, this time is I need to work on my website, or this time I need to make this phone call, or at this time, because I can have people, um, trying to reach me at all these times, and then that breaks the rhythm. So that's something that we might, again, these are suggestions. You get to figure out, our viewers out there, you get to figure out what works for you. But look at how do you actually use your time wisely? How do you use your energy wisely? Um, and let's be honest, even if I have 8 hours of work, I ain't working 8 hours. you know, I need to take breaks. I need to go outside. I need to meditate. And one of the things is, and I talked to Claudette about this, and I think I mentioned it in a couple of episodes previous, but I found finally ways to meditate that actually work for me to help shut my mind. Because in the Chinese calendar, lunar calendarly, I actually am monkey. I am fire monkey. And fire monkey has lots of things to talk about and lots of fun things to do and lots of ponderings and all. And so my monkey brain actually takes for me to sit still. As you can see, I'm fidgeting in my chair. I can't just sit quietly. My legs are moving. I'm always moving. But I've learned over time, and this is one of the gifts of being a midlife woman, is over time we've learned ways to settle down a little bit more, and our bodies want to. Our bodies actually don't want to, because I don't know about you, but when I push myself to overexhaustion, and I've done that as a young person, my body will shut not just my brain, but my body will shut down. And living on constant adrenaline and constant doing,
Yeah.
yep, will bring health issues. The body can't be at constant stress levels all the time. So meditation is one way. I personally, and you know what? Even though it might not seem it, but taking a 10-minute walk outside just gets the brain shut down. And then the other thing that I do, and I don't know why this works for me, it doesn't work for everybody, but I discovered it, counting steps. Because or even counting breaths, because when I count breaths or count things, the brain then has something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because the brain can't just the mind doesn't shut off ever.
Well, and think about it, right? We don't really want our brains to shut off, because then we'd be dead. So let's say that, all right? But you're sharing about counting. For me, if I started to count, then it actually I equate counting with working. So what I have is a mantra, which is from my Kundalini yoga, and it's Sat Nam. And whenever I do the mantra of Sat Nam, it just like instantly. Within 30 seconds, it just goes.
Mm.
And so maybe, like, for you, your mantra is counting. For another person, it could be a mantra of humming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the hum sound. For me, it's the Sat Nam mantra. So whatever it is, and the beauty of this is that we can do it where.
Right.
Even unless you're going to fall asleep, don't do it while driving. Want you to be doing mantras and driving and then falling asleep. So that's
No,
not a good idea.
not a good
But,
idea.
but let's say you're in a stressful situation, right? Like whether you're in an interview and you're stressing out, or your stepkids are screaming in the house and arguing and fighting. One of the best ways to bring you back down is doing either your mantra, breathing, or counting. You need to bring your brain back to a level where you'll be able to focus and understand what's going on and be with the people.
Yeah, and you know what? As you were talking, one of the things is it's interesting. See, this is why we need to experiment with what works with us. Because for me, when I try mantras, words or hum or om, that makes me think of work. But counting, and I think because for me, because of my dance background, that's what you do to learn. You count the music, you count the steps. So for me, so I find that, see, you got, and that's what I always say. Everybody is different.
Yep.
We have to experiment to find what works for us. And that takes a little time and a little energy. The other thing, I saw this video of the and this, it was something also, this yogi or whatever, I can't, anyway, he talks about this position when you're walking. He goes, put your hands together, bring them close to the heart, and then bend down and just walk slowly. You can see a little bit before you, but you walk very slowly. And that brings the whole body back down to center. And I experiment with that, and it does. So it might look weird and you walk slowly. You don't walk fast because you can't see too far in front. But as you're doing that with your hands close to where your heart or sternum is, and you
Yep.
just bend, it just brings, for 5 minutes, just walking for 5 minutes that way. You don't have to, and for some reason that will help bring it back down to center. So that's another tool to experiment with. So find things, and like, for me, it's that physical activity, walking, maybe it's yoga, maybe, so be willing, how can I put this? To de-stress, we have to be willing to put in the effort to find out how we can de-stress ourselves.
Yeah. And as you were sharing about, your physical thing, and I know I shared this before, another thing I've done for years and years, and I still do it, is that, when your brain is full of things, that is like the chatterbox you have, I write it out. I journal. And I know I shared this before, because what happens is, and sometimes, like, if you're up in the middle of the night and your brain is going like on a roller coaster ride, or like on a monkey or a hamster wheel, and you're like, oh my God, like this is insane, I can't sleep. You're feeling stressed. Your body is like stressing out. I've written out. I've journaled, and with and sometimes I will journal between half an hour to an hour, and I've seen myself journal for an hour and a half because I had so much stuff to write out. And the thing about to relieve what's in your brain, to relieve the stress and tension, it's not writing to write a story, or being perfect. You just stream of consciousness, write whatever's coming out, whatever word. Remember, you're the only one reading it. So if there are words you're upset about, you may be like wondering, oh my God, this is so inappropriate. It's only for you. And if you're worried, rip it up and throw it in the trash or burn it. You don't have to keep it, because there are some people who believe that when you write negative stuff or bad stuff, you're bringing in a negative. Well, if that is a concern for you, think of it this way. You're taking the negative energy from your head and you're transferring it to this piece of paper, and then keep it in your possession. rip it in small pieces or put it in the trash or burn it. So this way you're getting rid of it. You're not keeping that negative energy. But the thing is to take it from in your head and channel it into that or somewhere where you'll feel good about, at least get it out of in your system.
Yeah, and as you were talking, Claudette, I came up a couple things. So again, find what, but you know what? I thought, you know what? Maybe draw, draw out what it is. And again, it could be, in crayons or finger painted or something, or, um,
Color.
get creative. Yeah. The other thing too is we forget we laugh. So find a way to have a really good messy belly laugh. I don't know, being watching silly animal things on YouTube or I have to admit I like wacky cat videos. I don't know what it is about cats and videos, but I do like or the other what did I find the other day that I posted on my Facebook page was a mom otter with a baby otter on their back, just floating in the water. And I go, oh my God, that's so cute. And, it just got me into that space of, oh, I'm just going to pretend I'm there with them and I'm being held by, it goes back to your taking a bath, some being in water is, we got to all remember we all started in water, liquid, and then we floated around, whoa, and then there was gravity, and it's like, ah. Um, so there, so again, look for ways that you don't have to take on the stress. You don't have to do this all alone. You don't have to, sometimes, I'll just, talk to my dear friends and curse the hell out of things and and use big cursy words. And I have my favorites, but and sometimes I gotta pound something. We have that natural thing that, pounding things, I have, pillows and things that so find ways to release the energy, find ways to get your brain to release the energy within either writing or in a bath or taking a walk. I think there's all kinds of, things that we shared here today. And as we wrap up, Claudette, is there anything else you want to add into this conversation before we close this episode?
So as we shared a lot of stuff, we shared a lot of information, and the one thing that you can always do, um, if you get like overwhelmed with a lot of stuff in your head and you don't know, give us a call. Meeting and have a conversation with us, because sometimes it could be something as basic as saying, hey, in this, is this normal what I'm going through? Does this make sense? And just understanding that you are normal. What you're going through is part of a process of either being in the stepmom or being in midlife women. If you understand, like, okay, yeah, this is a process. Okay, I'm not losing my marbles. I'm not going crazy. Okay, so then it sort of like really helps you to get you out of your brain as well and finding some balance. And it'll give you more energy to find some balance. So if you're a stepmom and you're looking for some balance in your life, some getting rid of the monkey brain in your head, I'd love to talk with you. And you can reach me at Claudette at stepmomcoach.com. My website is stepmomcoach.com. You can also find me using the hashtag stepmomcoach or stepmomwisdom. Those are two hashtags I use a lot. I'm on social media. And I'd love to, have a conversation with you and see how I can help you. And, maybe it's not talking, but maybe enrolling in one of my e-courses that I offer as well. So take a look at my website, give me a call, join me, and I'd love to talk with you. So Sharona, what if there's some midlife women out there that are like going like, I can't do this anymore? How can they get a hold of you?
Ah, enough. Um, so yeah, thanks, Claudette. So if you're a step not a well, yes, if you are a stepmom and a midlife woman, you can or you could talk to Claudette or you could talk to me. And you can as a step, as a midlife woman, if you're at that, feeling overwhelmed or struggling with the changes you're going through, or you're feeling that you just cannot quiet down and quiet the brain a little bit so that you feel less stress, that and maybe feel like you just don't want to just be surviving from day to day, and you can reach and run a thrive instead. You can reach me at Sharona at midlifewomendancingwithchange.com. My website is www.dancingwithchange.com. Hashtag midlife women dancing with change, or hashtag emotional impact, because whatever transition or transformation you're going through, there's all the emotional components of that too that we delve into. I will be having my free offer of thriving in the midst of midlife change coming up soon. And also, here's the other thing: make comments below, subscribe to our Conversation That Matter Most channel, um, and also share so that we're building up the village, the tribe, the ensemble, if you will, of what works for you to decompress. And so share that below. Um, and if you have any questions, also put that either below or contact Claudette or myself, and we'll be happy to have that conversation with you. Let's just remember, we don't, as women, we are super women, hey, but we don't have to do it all alone. We all need faithful sidekicks. So, yeah. So I want to thank you, everybody, for being here. And Claudette, thank you once again for bringing your groovy self to the table.
Well, thank you to my groovy sidekick, Sharona, which I enjoy to have to do this every single week. So eh, thank you everyone, and then remember, we're here every Wednesday. Come and check us, check our past episodes, listen, share the knowledge, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Bye, everybody. Have fun, groove on, and thrive.